Hello everyone. Today we're talking about, I forgot what we're talking about. Hello everyone. Today we're talking about patch. And I've got my workbook ready. I downloaded it from Blackboard. And we're going to work through how to patch channels to addresses. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started. We're working in the ETC EOS lighting software. This is the Nomad version. It's called Nomad when you load it onto a PC or a Mac. It's the same software that is run on the consoles. Today we're going to learn how to patch. And patch means assigning channels to addresses. Addresses are the numbers that exist in the system. And channels are the numbers that the lighting designer creates in order to keep everything organized. So I've started a new show file, and the first thing I'm gonna close this tab. The first thing we're going to do is figure out how to get into patch, and the easiest way to do that is to click this plus sign right here in the tab view. So if you click the plus sign, you get the screen that shows you all the different functions that the console can do. But we're looking specifically for patch today. So I've clicked the patch key, and you see it brings up a new interface. And one of the things you might notice is that it's blue. Blue is assigned for blind mode. And blind means anything that we type into the system right now isn't affected. It doesn't affect the live system. So live summary show, this is live mode. So if we were to type something into the command line, and provided that there are fixtures patched into the system, if I were to type in a channel number and hit enter, it would bring that up live. When you're in patch, anything that you do is not executed live. So things like patching and writing effects, that sort of thing, all of that is done in blind mode. So you can see that the system defaults to patching by channel. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start patching some channels. So I'm working in the ETC EOS Family Essentials workbook, and you can find that in Blackboard in the lighting programming module. So if you'll go and open that file, you can work along. So after you've watched this video, or if you want to work along in your own version of Nomad, you can practice patching channels. Before we patch channels in, there's no way to tell the system what lights we want to turn on and off. So this is kind of the first step. So the first thing we're going to do is patch by channel. And so I'm going to type in 601 at 250, enter. And you can see that I have patched channel 601 to address 250. And the type is a dimmer. So let's do another one. Channel 602 at 657, enter. So now I've patched 602 to address 257. And you'll also notice down here that when I hit the at key, it's the A on your keyboard. When you hit the at key, it automatically puts in address because it knows that's what you're trying to do. Okay, let's do another one. Channel 603 at 2/146. So what have I done this time? I've taken channel 603 and assigned it to channel 1 or address 146, but in the second universe. We talked earlier about DMX being 512 addresses per universe. And a lot of the fixtures that we use require a great number of addresses in order to be able to do all of the functions on those lighting fixtures, like pan, tilt, change the gobo, frost, zoom. All those different functions are controlled by a different address. So sometimes we need to move out of a single universe of control in order to be able to control all of the functions of the lighting fixtures that we have. So all of our spaces at university, in our university theater spaces, are all set up with multiple universe control, because the more we get multi-parameter fixtures, the more channels, the more addresses rather, that it's required. The way the EOS system works is you can take a single channel and it will compress all of the addresses that it needs to make a fixture work down into a single channel, because it's got a library of fixtures that it knows. And you can assign a particular type of fixture to a channel. And we're going to do that here in just a minute. Okay, the next thing you might want to do is patch a range of channels at once. The reason you might want to do that is because it could speed up your programming time. When you're in tech or you're getting ready for tech, every moment counts. So I'm going to clear out my command line by hitting clear, or it's delete on your keyboard at home. So type in 604 through 610 at 101, enter. And you see what we've done is we patched 604 through 610 all at the same time. And all I had to do was give it a single starting address, and the system automatically knew to do each of those sequential next addresses in as it went. So when you're patching a range of channels like that, and things are have single addresses, it'll automatically patch them one to one like that. Okay, let's do another one. 611 at 108 through 111, enter. Okay, so what have we done this time? We took channel 611 and we assigned 4 different addresses to a single channel. Why would we want to do this? Well, let's say we have, we're patching house lights, and we want all of the house lights that are over the audience and under the balcony to come on all at the same time. Well, there could be a number of different addresses associated with those house lights. Could be in the, over the audience, it could have a few different addresses. The cove lights might be a few different addresses. Under the balcony might be a few different addresses. But when you're programming the show, you might only want to have to call one channel number out in order to bring up all the house lights. So what it does is it assigns parts to that single channel. So channel 611 has 4 parts. Part 1 is address 108, Part 2 is address 109, Part 3 is address 110, and Part 4 is address 111. So that's another easy way we can assign a range of numbers to a single channel, and it makes it easier for us to patch. Okay, we're going to do one more that might save you some time. Channel 612 through channel 620 at 201. And now what we're going to do is click the offset key. And you see that offset key is down here under these sets of keys right here. And these 6 boxes will change depending upon the function that you're doing in the EOS system. They're called soft keys. And if you're looking at an Ion console, for example, you'll get a set of soft keys in the little LCD screen on the lighting console. And you'll also see them down here at the bottom of your, just underneath where the CIA is. Offset is a key that we'll use every once in a while when we're programming. So you see, if I click offset and I want to offset that by 3 and hit enter, you can see that 612 through 620 is offset by 3 channels each. You see, instead of patching a range 1 to 1 like we did before, now we've skipped every 3rd channel. And you might want to patch something like that if you are patching a 3-cell cyclite or something like that. So a particular lighting fixture that has functions that you want every 3rd cell to come on, for example. Maybe you want to start with red and then blue and then green. You can offset by 3 numbers. So that's an easy way to patch a range of channels as well. Now we're going to talk about clear versus unpatch versus delete. So we're going to use some of these same channels that we've already typed in and learn how to clear stuff out. Say you mistyped something or you made a mistake, or we're always checking the patch to see if we got an address wrong, or sometimes we update addresses. It might once you've patched the show in. You might want to move something around in the light plot, and it might be easier for the master electrician to unplug it from the address that it was in and plug it into a different address because it's closer, for example, and then you'll need to repatch it. So this would be a way you might want to do that. So I'm going to type in channel 601 at enter, and you can see it's asking me to please confirm that. I'm going to hit enter again. And when I hit enter again, it removes the address, but it leaves the type and the channel number associated with it. So let's do another one. 602 unpatch. You see unpatch is one of my soft keys over here. Unpatch, enter. All non-intensity show data for these channels will also be deleted. Please confirm. Yes, I'm confirming by hitting enter again. And you can see that when I unpatch, it clears the address and it clears whatever type of fixture that we had told it. If it's a dimmer, it defaults to dimmer. So that was automatically there. Okay, we're going to try one more. 603. Oh, sorry. Not 603, I'm clearing out my command line. I'm going to go to the virtual keyboard because the delete key on my keyboard acts as the clear key on a keyboard. So you need a clear key and you need a delete key like they have on the actual lighting console. So I'm going to click delete first, and you see how delete has appeared in my command line. Now I'm going back to patch. Delete 603, enter. All data for these channels will also be deleted. Please confirm. Enter. So you see that it has now grayed out channel 603. It's gotten rid of the address and it's gotten rid of the type, and you see the entire thing has been grayed out. That means it has erased every sense of the data from that particular channel. Can I get it back? Sure. Yeah, if I want to patch something to channel 603 again, I can do that. And say that all of the stuff that we just did, we didn't mean to do that. We want to get all those channels back. So the easiest way to do that, and this works for a lot of different functions in the EOS, is to use the undo command. And so I'm going to go to the virtual keyboard again because it's easiest to show you where undo is on the virtual keyboard. Undo is right here on your keyboard if you're using the virtual keyboard. So I'm going to click undo, and then it brings up where my CIA is. It brings up a list of all of the commands that I have done recently. And so what we want to do in order to restore those channels back is, this one is automatically highlighted. I'm going to click up to where we deleted, where we patched the channel 601. That was the last thing we did. So I've highlighted those three, and now I'm going to hit enter. And you see down the command line, it says multiple commands are going to be undone. You sure you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. And now if I go back to patch, you can see that channel 601 through 603 are back. They've been restored. So this is doesn't just work in patch. It works all over the EOS console. If you did something in the system that, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do, you can get that back. Okay, let's look, again, I'm going through the workbook, and the next thing I want to do is, it's telling me I want to patch by address. And it could be, remember that we are patching by channel by default. It could be that we might want to patch by address instead, because maybe we know those. Maybe the piece of paperwork that we have is an address hookup instead of a channel hookup. So address appears on my piece of paperwork first. So it might make sense to me to type the addresses in first. So I'm going to go to my virtual keyboard again, and I'm going to press the format key. The format key right there. And you can see if I go back to if I go back to patch, that that didn't do anything at all. So I'm gonna press, well, it's because I'm not in patch. I need to be in patch, and I'm going to go up to this, and I'm going to click the format key here. Okay, so that was a long way around. I hit the format key here in the virtual pop-up. You can also see that on the keyboard, it's also F4. On my Macintosh keyboard, I have to hit the function key in addition to F4, and you may have to do that too, whether it's on a PC or a Mac. So I'm going to hit function and I'm going to hit function and F4 on my keyboard, and that's going to take me back to patching by channel or patching by address. So if you want to type addresses in first, this would be the way to do that. I'm going to go back to patching by channel, so I'm going to click format again. And now we're going to learn how to patch a multi-parameter device, and that means a moving light or an LED, anything that has multiple functions in addition to just dimming up and down. And dimming up and down means intensity. So a multi-parameter fixture is one that we can control more than just the intensity of the fixture. So let's give it a channel number. So let's say channel 651 through channel 656, enter. And you see I didn't say at first, or I didn't type at first. So I have only selected these channels. I haven't given them an address, and I don't know what type that fixture is yet. So this is how we're going to figure out what type these particular fixtures are. We're going to move over here, and we're going to find the type function, which is kind of over here in our CIA. And if you click type, you're brought up, you get a new menu down here on the bottom of the screen, and you can see we've been patching dimmers so far, and that's the only thing that appears kind of in our quick select. So these will be populated eventually as you continue to add different fixture types. You'll get some shortcut keys here that you can just go back and click. But until we do that, we have to look at these soft keys down here where we see show, manufacturer, and search. Well, the only show fixtures that we've patched in so far are dimmers. So let's look in this manufacturer list. So click manufacturer, and then it brings up a whole list right here at the left of the manufacturers in the library that ETC EOS knows. So we're gonna click through this list until we find high-end systems. So we're going to patch in some high-end systems lighting fixtures. So I'm going to click high-end systems, and you see now over here to the right, it lists all of the different types of lighting fixtures that high-end systems makes. The light we're looking for is the Solar Frame Theater, which requires 47 addresses to be able to do all the functions of that that lighting fixture. So I'm going to click that one. You see it's in blue, and if it's in blue, that means there are several other different fixture types that you can choose. We're going to choose the top one, which is the Solar Frame Theater 47, which is the standard fixture type. And you can see now in our patch, according to these channels, we have associated the Solar Frame Theater with these channels, but we haven't given them any addresses yet. So the next thing we want to do is give it some addresses. So without doing anything else, because these channels are still highlighted, I'm going to type my @ key now, and you can see it switched to 651 through 656 address. We're going to patch it into universe 7, so 7/1. We're going to start at the very first address number and hit enter. And you can see what the system has done is for channel 651, it's universe 7, addresses 1 through 47. And then 652, it's universe 7, 48 through 94. So once it used up these first 47 addresses, it stepped to the next one, 48 through 94. Then 94, so 95 is next. So that way we are assigning the channel numbers or the address numbers that this fixture needs in order for us to be able to control those fixtures. So here's another way of patching these in. Often we want to be really organized with the way we put addresses into the system. And it could be that these numbers are a little hard to remember, and we might want to be a little more organized for the master electrician so it makes their job a little bit easier. We could use that offset command that we used earlier in order to give 50 addresses each to these. So we're skipping 50 addresses at a time. Instead of 47, it tends to make the math easier, so it makes them easier to remember. So without doing anything else, because they're still highlighted, I'm going to hit @ again, and we're going to change what we just did. So we still want to be in universe 7/1. We still want to start at universe 1, or address 1, but we want to click the offset key, and let's offset by 50 channels or 50 addresses instead of 47. And when you hit enter here, it's going to say this address is already in use because we patched it already. You're just going to say, okay, yes, it's okay to override it. So now you see my addresses are patched using 50 channel increments. So they start at 1 and 51 and 101 and 151 and 201 and 251. That just tends to make the math a little easier to remember. And remember that lighting design, a lot of being a lighting designer is managing numbers. I guess it's like being an accountant. So you never thought that lighting design would be as much accounting and physics as it would be the art of doing theater, did you? But here we are. So that's how we patch a multi-parameter device, and we could patch a number of others. So let's do another one. Let's say channel 101 at 2/101, and then we're going to give it a type. So you see, I've typed in. I already knew the address I wanted to start at, so I'm going to go up to the type. And these are fixtures that we own in our Studio 404. So we're in the H's. I want to go to the K's, and I'm looking for. Whoops, I skipped the K's. J, K. I'm looking for K9 lighting. So I'm going to click K9 lighting, and you see there are only 2 fixture types. I'm going to click the Bulldog, and I'm going to click the Bulldog 8 channel. And you see now we have associated channel 101 with address 101 through 108, and it's a Bulldog 8 channel fixture. We actually own some of these. We call them pups, but we use the Bulldog profile in EOS because the Bulldog can do more things than the pup can. And so even though we've got pups, we use this particular profile. So, and that's the way you would patch an entire range fixtures. And in 404, we tend to patch using 10 at a time. We know it has 8 addresses, but it's an 8 channel mode. We know it has that many addresses, but it's easier to remember if we do them 10 at a time. So I'm gonna back up again, and I'm gonna type in 101 through 117. And I know that's true because that's how many fixtures we have in 404. At 2/101 offset 10 and hit enter. And it didn't do anything at all. So I'm just going to cut this part out of the video entirely. Okay, so we've patched in our Bulldog, which we have those lights. In the appendix of the programming workbook, there is a whole set of channels that you can patch in. I've also included the patch for the rep plot in Studio 404. So since we'll be working in 404 in the future, you can practice with the appendix, with the patch that EOS has in the workbook, and you can also practice using the patch that we have in 404. And it's been the same for the last couple of years. So eventually you'll want to know that patch, because those are the lights we're going to be using when we all get back together. So if you have questions about patch, feel free to watch this video again. And if you have other questions, don't hesitate to let me know, and we'll get you patching in no time. So once we've patched all these fixtures in, we can go back to Live Summary. And if we go up to the our little pop-up keyboard, and I type in, or I use the Flexi key, I can click until it shows me the patched channels mode. And in patched channels, you see these are all of the fixtures that we patched in today. So now they appear in our live mode, and we can start working with these channels, which is exactly what we're going to do next time. Okay, see you then. Bye.